what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
We'll try not to like too much talk over each other, but again, we are girls and we are
agree to disagree.
And it's like,
Okay, moving on.
well, the makeup bottle.
A little.
It's like a cracked out T-bird, some grease.
Yeah,
You know, she's got that black hair.
Hey, welcome back to Chick Chat here on The Mesh. Hope you're doing well. It is mid-January. It is cold. That's late January. Jesus. Already? Anyway.
Already, right?
It's late January. And you know what, Jeanette, just give me a thumbs up if everything's good in your life. Is all good? All good? Okay. Yeah, we got it. Meh.
No complaints.
Great. You know what? We're not dwelling. We have so much to discuss in so little time because so much happened at the end. I think lots of people thought they were going to get away with the end of the year and cross over to New Year. People not seeing a bunch of celebrity updates and whatnot. But I have questions. I have things to discuss. And I need your feedback. We have not discussed any of this. Again, anyone listening, we are not breaking news here. We are just two girls that are friends that never really get to talk. And so we use this as our platform to discuss everything going on pop culture that we want to talk about. So, Jeanette, what are your thoughts? Give me one word to describe the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni drama. One word.
Chaos. I don't know if that's the right word I want to use because I am thoroughly entertained.
I know. I'm not just entertained. I am involved. I'm very curious. I'm also a little confused. I'm not confused on what is going on. I get it. But I'm confused on whether or not how I'm supposed to feel about it. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does because yes, it makes sense to me because I'm like,
because you feel
like a horrible woman,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been a Blake Lively fan. Have been. I mean, I was a her sister fan first.
Oh.
You know.
I mean, if we had the number of times we've discussed Teen Witch, we are all Robin Lively.
We are all Robin Lively first and foremost. Then Blake.
Don't make us get into the rap, but let's just say we're big fans.
Top that. So I'm not saying that I didn't like Blake Lively. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of hers. I watched all of Gossip Girl. I've seen the Sisterhood movies, blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, whenever this first came out and Justin was, or not first came out, not the lawsuit. Again, we're not breaking news. If you were listening and you don't know what we're talking about, just go do a little research first. Blake Lively, basically around the time of the new movie that they are in together, It Ends With Us. Did you read the book, by the way, Jeanette?
No. So I will preface this conversation by saying my daughter read the book, asked me if I would go to the movie and see it with her. I was like, sure, let's go see it. Having not read the book, we both came out of there kind of like, and I was like, is that what the book is like? Because I don't want to read it. And she's like, no, I feel like they missed a lot. And even she wasn't a fan of the movie, but she was like, but Mom, it's the message. And I was like, okay, I get the message, but I feel like that message was maybe overshadowed by a lot of other things because like it just maybe went over my head. But so I'll prep all my things that I'm saying about this.
But you have seen the movie.
I've seen the movie, was not a fan of the movie, will not watch it again because it didn't pull me in. I was very dissatisfied with that movie.
Agreed. I read the book and watched the movie, loved the book, didn't care for the movie. The only reason that I watched the whole movie was because I had read the book. And I was almost at that point just playing comparisons. But the there was a lot missed. It felt like I was watching like a Hallmark movie a little bit. And
Yeah.
so I didn't feel like it was top tier Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover. Like for as much joy as this book has brought a lot of people and as discussion and whatnot, book clubs runneth over with this. I don't feel like this was what Colleen Hoover was trying to do in the book, more or less, while portrayed in the movie, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
so
My
we're on
daughter
that
kind of explained it to me that it was a little more obvious and a little more out there in the book versus what I saw on screen. She's like, she even felt my daughter is 17. She's
Yeah.
like, I felt like they just jumped, like missed a lot of the in between. So there was a lot of
100%.
things that did not have context. And even I was like, and don't get me wrong when I say this, because it's going to sound horrible the way I'm saying it, but I'm like, I asked her, was the abuse more blatant in the book? Because I felt like I was watching a rom-com with a little, not a little bit, but with some violence in it. Like I felt like we saw more violence between her parents
Yep.
than in her own relationship. Even like the hospital scene threw me a little bit because I'm like, I'm thoroughly confused on what this relationship is like. And
Well, and yes, and in the book, it's definitely because you hear the thoughts, right? You're reading her thoughts. You're reading her mind going through like what just happened. Wait, what was this? Oh no, blah, blah, blah. But in the movie, I kind of felt like they did it so lightly. And I get it, maybe that's, that is how that happens sometimes, right? Like you think this person loves you or maybe, they do love you, but like things get out of hand or what, I don't know. But in the movie, I felt like there were a few times where I was kind of like, wait, did I miss something? Because it looked like that actually looked like that was an accident or something,
yes, yes. Like
and
the
I hate
first
to
one.
say it
Yes.
that way. I hate to say it that way because
No,
I
I
was
get it.
like,
That's what I was trying not to say. But yeah, you said it. You said it great. I wouldn't have said it so eloquently.
I don't support, obviously, and it's
No.
a horrible subject matter, and I'm all girl power, but I don't feel like it was shown properly to get the point across that this is what we're supposed to be discussing.
Yes.
Violence, or even just anger issues or whatever it may be. This was, I really, they even showed it so many times, the replay and the feel of this incident, that I thought they were trying to show us that this was an accident or not his fault or not her fault. I don't know, but
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
So
The fact
can I ask
was-
you? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I ask you two questions that bothered me in the movie? And my daughter kind of gave me an answer, but I don't know that she gave me an answer to satisfy me. So, two instances. One being the phone and him dropping the phone and the case dropping off. Like, did that happen in the book? Because I've dropped my phone many a times, and never once has everything just fallen out of, like, my phone case is just not falling off.
Right.
And she knew he put the phone number in there. So why not just like move it somewhere? And the second one was, why was she just talking around the tattoo? Because she has a past. They both have a past. It would have been so easy for her to say, this is a tattoo I got because of a childhood relationship. We both got it. Like, it just, did those two things happen the way they were portrayed in the movie?
I don't recall if the whole phone thing was like the case falling off and the this and that. Like I don't recall if it was that in the book. I don't think that was I thought it was just I think there was another way that she saw or something, or that it was seen.
Okay.
And he saw it, and so I don't know. I don't recall.
Okay, not important. I just wondered. It bothered me.
the stuff with Atlas, that was kind of a big deal for me because to me, after reading the book, it was very much one of these, or for me personally, again, it was this, oh, Atlas is just, he is the guy. Like Atlas is the dream, the memory, the goal, the end game, the this, the that, like Atlas is it. And in the movie, I don't feel like Atlas got the love that he did in the book, or I didn't leave the movie feeling like, oh, thank God for Atlas. It wasn't, he was, you go through the stage in the book where it's very, One Tree Hill. Is it Nathan Scott, or which brother am I pulling for? And this in the book, there was a time where I was like, "Oh, is it Ryle or Atlas? Is it Ryle or Atlas? Like who do I love more?" And that's
In the
before,
book. Really?
when I'm
Okay.
reading, because you hadn't quite gotten into the who was the bad one.
Gotcha. Okay.
We knew about Atlas, and then she's dating this amazing Ryle, right? And so in the book, you hear all the stories of her childhood with Atlas, and then the memories and all. And I guess I knew that the book was going to be addressing like physical and sexual violence and stuff, and abuse. But I honestly, reading the book didn't have any spoilers. I didn't know which one was going to do it.
Oh.
If
Okay.
that makes sense. And then it starts becoming obvious. So then you're like, oh my God, I love Atlas. Like Atlas this, Atlas that, because there was just so much emotion written behind their history. But in the movie, it was kind of like, oh, I mean, yeah, there was this boyfriend and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it was just
And
kind of thrown in there, right?
Yeah. And then it was like, oops, wow, he's here at the restaurant, and
Yeah.
so,
It
I
just
don't know.
felt very like we only have 2 hours. So
Right.
let's just jump ahead.
Let's just
make
put
these things
Atlas somewhere.
happen.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was just,
I felt like I needed to hate Ryle more in the movie than I actually came away hating him. And
Right.
that sounds horrible.
Nope.
But I'm
Nope.
like,
That's exactly it. In the book, I left hating him.
Okay. See, I didn't get that from the movie.
But in the movie, I was kind of like, well, I mean, he's handsome. And again, it's horrible. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean that it's excusable. I just mean they didn't show me what I thought they were trying to show me.
Yeah, and I heard that in the book, his sister doesn't react the way that she reacted in the movie.
In the movie, right. Yeah, and and I didn't know that was going to be happening, so there was a little bit of surprise there that it was like she's like, "Oh my God, I love you, you're screw my brother" type of thing. But I feel like in the movie they tried to almost cheat it a little bit to where she still made it known that she was around him and acknowledging him and whatnot, but then I don't know. It was different. It was very different. So when that movie came out, there became this cloud almost over Blake Lively, it seemed. There was a lot of bad press going around, or she was kind of coming off nasty, as in the public eye, which a lot of people, it was really 50-50. I feel like there were a lot of people that were just very, oh, yeah, of course. I mean, that's Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Screw Blake. Look at Justin. He's all for women's rights. He did a TED Talk on it. He's amazing. We love Justin. And then there's the other side that was, Gossip Girl forever. And couldn't believe it. So I don't know where I fell with that, but I do think that it was all the timing was either planted properly or, again, who knows? I'm in the crapshoot here, right? Like, it could be true, it could not be true. Don't know. All right, so we know Justin Baldoni from Jane the Virgin. You and I used to discuss that show quite a bit back in the day. And then I'm just, obviously I don't know him from much else. And it's weird because I think a lot of people out there are like, oh, he's pretty unknown, except for his production company. And I'm like, no, he's not. Like, how did you not watch this? How did you not see him on Jane the Virgin? Anywho, very, very Cliff's Notes version. He's got this production company. He was the director of the movie as well as starring in it. He hired a lot of his own personal buddies to be in the movie. Towards the end of the year, Blake comes out with it wasn't a formal lawsuit at the time. It was a legal complaint and stating lots of things that she really was not having on set and whatnot, that she had asked things would not happen anymore. And, and she blames his production company, saying that he specifically was doing a lot of these things and that his PR firm and all were doing a smear campaign. I don't know the actual word for it, but anyway, basically he's now come back and said, nuh-uh, and points the fingers back at her. And now he's filed a lawsuit against, what is it, New York Times or New York Post or something?
New York Times, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and Blake Lively.
And Ryan Reynolds.
And Ryan Reynolds, because he says that he was doing defamation and stuff of character and his name. Well, now they, just like 2 days ago, they put out his team, Justin's team, released a video of them on set filming. And this was raw footage from behind the scenes. Have you seen this video?
Yes.
Okay.
Several times from several different angles.
Correct. His team put it out saying, here, look, this is how Blake was on set. Okay. Blake has, in her complaint and lawsuit, described certain things like fat shaming, walking into her trailer unannounced, making inappropriate comments towards her, using things that were, talking amongst in her company about pornographic addictions, I guess. Saying things, not having an intimacy coordinator on set for intimate filming situations. Those are some of the things that she has reported within her complaint. Justin's come back basically and said, like I said, everything was like, nuh-uh, not me. I didn't do this. It was all Blake. She was horrible. She's a bitch. Well, then they released this video of the two of them filming a scene where the cameras are rolling, but there is going to be a music overlay of the video. So they know that what they're actually saying is not really all going to be on camera, just possibly some lines of it. And apparently Justin is, off the cuff. He's not, what's the word? Not scripted. He's not following script. He's saying things to her about how she smells and how she looks while kissing her and kissing her neck or whatnot. And so he's like, here's my proof. Look how good she didn't look uncomfortable at all. And then Blake's team came back and said, no, she absolutely looks uncomfortable. And in fact, this video is everything that we're describing to you. He was saying things that weren't scripted, that weren't part of the emotion of that shot. And now we're at they're both they're both just pointing fingers at each other and being ugly. So I'm at a loss because the female of me says, screw you, Justin. You don't do these things, don't say these things. And that's not how we act on a set. And then the other side of me says, I don't know, like what? I can't tell because I'm not, I wasn't there and I probably will never know the actual details, but yet I can't figure it out.
So I had a little bit of a different take on that. Again, watched it many times from several different angles. So
Yep.
And I may be somewhat biased by the comments, but I pretty much felt the same way that the comments were relating. So regarding the whole smell thing, in the scene, again, this is improvised because it's a slow dance. It's supposed to be just like this shot of them dancing, looking at each other, whatever.
We also have some montage stuff around it, I believe.
Yeah, there's people just walking around. There's a sports game going on. It's the scene where they're like in a sports bar because there's a hockey game on or something.
Yep.
So he nuzzles her neck and says, sorry, I'm getting beard on you. And she says, no, I'm probably getting spray tan on you. And to me, sarcastically, he says, no, it smells good. And she's like, well, it's probably my body makeup. So she didn't look offended in that moment. He wasn't leaning down on her and smelling her neck and being like, oh, you smell so good. Like it was in reference to something she was saying.
Right.
I also feel like she talked throughout the entire scene. It was like there was a pull between both of them of who's directing the scene. Because at one point he says to her, my wife and I just like to stare at each other, and we like quietly, and we feel like that's really intimate. And she's like, oh, Ryan and I like to talk. And he's like, yeah, I bet you guys talk a lot. So like, he's just kind of saying like, can we be quiet in the scene?
Yeah.
He's like, no, they want it. Don't give it to them. Let's just talk. I think talking's more like, because when we talk, like, and he's like, oh no, I think that's great. I think you guys are great. She's like, well, it's more than great. He's like, you're amazing. She goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's one scene where he wants them just like not to kiss, but kind of like put their lips close to each other.
And the suspense almost when you're watching
like,
it.
will they,
Right?
won't
Like
they? Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like chemistry there.
And she just keeps talking like, and then like when it's time to cut, at one point he yells, cut. He completely snaps out of character and goes to like, can we see the shot from this? And like, so I felt like maybe she was cherry picking moments, maybe from that scene or from that moment. Because even people watching that were like, well, Blake, if you don't want to play romantic roles and have to kiss your co-star and have him nuzzle you in scenes where it calls for like you guys to be intimate, like maybe you shouldn't be an actress because like this is your job.
Well, but I think to play devil's advocate on that, shooting a movie takes a while, right? And they had also had to pause because of the strike, the SAG strike. And so, they kind of were there and then came back and there and came back. And we don't know how long any of this kind of, in her stance, she's saying uncomfortable situations were going on. And to when this was filmed. Because, obviously, filming never takes place in sequential timeline. Like, they're shooting different scenes. The first scene could be the last scene that's in the movie. But I don't know, had she already, had things not progressed? Was this early on? Was this kind of just the first time that they were filming something like this? Because, there were some pretty graphic stuff. I don't know if you read everything about the giving birth scene and what she was asked to wear. And then the fact that he didn't hire an actual actor to play the doctor who was going to be down there in between her legs. They actually hired just his like buddy who came to set a lot. And little things to where I don't know when this was filmed, this scene that was released, had she had her fill yet or not, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
But
I just
again,
don't know. Like, I figure, you sign a contract, you got to finish the movie. She knows what a big deal the Colleen Hoover book is. I got to see this through and be done with it. But I don't want to promote it. I don't want to go out there and do this stuff. I don't want to be seen with him because of these things. But I got to finish the movie. And you know what? If I am going to have to do romantic movies, I'm happy to do them, but with the proper intimacy coordinator on site. And if we're not going to have one on site, this is not appropriate, and I'm fed up with this, but I know I have to finish the movie.
yeah. So to me, and again, I don't know whether she did or she didn't, but if she read the book, like I'm someone who's coming in not reading the book,
Right.
and
right.
I have this script. If she truly did not read the book, as Justin is saying, because she would have had some idea of how this was going to go in the movie, maybe she was unprepared for what was about to happen, because had she read the book, maybe she would have been prepared for more sexual scenes or like more violent scenes.
But
or
I don't
even
think that was
birthing.
the problem, right? Like, that's never really been the problem. It's a lot of the offset stuff, like when she was breastfeeding her child in her trailer and he would just walk in,
Well,
without
did you
knocking.
see the rest of his everything, all the other evidence that he presented, where he's like, well, here's the text where she invited
No,
me while
I
she was
know.
breastfeeding, and
But
I
if
was
you
eating
do,
with this.
but I'm kind of, I guess because I've actually been in that situation, because I did have to do that whenever I had my first child in a
Mhm.
public setting, basically in back many years ago. But like, I think there's still a stance of, she made the comment of, and I'm reading deep into it because I'm trying to figure out like what was happening. But I guess I'm the type of person that still, if I say, yeah, sure, come on by, I don't necessarily mean walk into my trailer, because I did just tell you I was pumping. I mean, knock on my door and give me a second to cover up,
Yeah.
but we can sit in here if you're okay with this situation.
But we also don't
Instead
know if
of,
that didn't happen.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know. And I think that's going to be the case of a lot of them, right? Because like, if you read her thing about like what I was saying about what she was asked to wear for the giving birth scene, but yet you're not going to have an intimacy coordinator. You could have read the book completely and she knew exactly. I mean, if she read the book, or if she didn't read the book, she saw the script, she knew what she was getting into. But I mean, she's been, doing intimate stuff on camera for her whole life almost,
Yeah.
and adult life. And I think the problem was not that there was going to be these type of scenes. It was that she's stating that they were not handled appropriately or professionally.
But there was an intimacy coordinator from the beginning.
Not at everything.
Not at that bar scene where they were just supposed to be dancing.
Right.
But like all of the graphic scenes, everything. And at one point when he hired her, I don't know if it was a he or she, but I'm assuming it was a she.
Right.
That he told her, I have this intimacy coordinator. Do you want to meet with her? And she's like, no, I'll just meet with her later.
Right.
So it wasn't like there wasn't one, maybe in that particular scene, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know that maybe, yeah, it would have been safeguarding to have her there at that point. But
Sure.
if I'm not like about to lay down in the bed with you and get intimate, if I'm just kind of like kissing your forehead and stuff, like I'm not going to think I need an intimacy coordinator there that day. Right. So,
right.
But yeah, maybe in the future for everything, even a holding hand scene, let's get an intimacy coordinator to just make sure that we're all copacetic here. But I don't know. I think that's why I'm on the fence.
That were stated that she asked as requirements in the order that she placed for working on the film. And according to the lawsuit and cited, they say, and I'm just reading this here, it says, including, quote, No more showing nude videos or images of women to Blake. No more mention of Baldoni's alleged previous pornographic addiction. No more discussions about sexual conquest in front of Blake and others. No further mentions of casting Crew's genitalia. No more inquiries about Blake's weight, and no further mention of Blake's dead father. Additionally, no more adding of sex scenes, oral sex, or on-camera climaxing by Blake Lively outside the scope of the script that Blake Lively approved when signing on to the project. So,
Yeah.
all of
And then
those, in my
on the
opinion, can be
counterpoint, though.
turned. Yeah. I feel like all of those can be turned to the other side, to where it's like, no more showing nude videos or images of women to Blake. Okay.
But it was a
like,
birth scene.
what
that she
was the
shown.
context, though?
Yeah.
Like, what was the context? Were we all sitting around having a beer after shooting one day, and you're showing me something, because we're all laughing and enjoying each other's company, or what? That's
No, I
that's
get
all
it.
the
Yeah.
stuff that I'm like, gosh, like, I feel like they're now just he said, she said, back and
It
forth,
is.
back and forth. And,
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that I'd read, obviously, if as a female, if they are 100% true, and if it was just as it was written, again, just going off reading this stuff, then yeah, I'd be pissed. But then on the other end, you read Justin's and you're like, dang, if he's going to say, or I mean, he has all these things, excuse me, if they are right, I don't understand. Like, that
Right.
sounds horrible too.
I am 99.9%, like 99.99%. I am a believe women, this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fully on team Blake, like, oh no, Justin, not you too.
Right.
And then he came back with his side, and I'm like, oh wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, so like even Justin and his attorney even objected to the use of and he was smart, because every time he did something, signed something, he then went behind and wrote I did this under duress. They even objected to what you just read, the words no more.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the use of the terms no more were used as if it was a daily occurrence and not one-time things. He's like, there was no porn, there was no mention of porn. We were directing a birthing scene, and my producing partner showed him the home video of his wife. I don't know. So there was context there. Like, I still don't know that I want to see it, but full transparency. My 5th grade teacher during our sex education class showed us a video of his wife giving birth.
Stop it.
So, no, I'm serious. So, I mean, I'm like, I wasn't traumatized. I was just kind of like, oh, this is strange, but
yeah,
it was the 80s again, whatever.
Hey,
anything goes. But I mean, we didn't see anything. I'm not going to make like, she wasn't nude. Like, yeah. But no, I distinctly remember that. But
yeah, it's just, it's all very, very tough. Like, I don't know. I mean, is this all? I guess what I'm getting at is, how does this affect both of them moving forward, in your opinion? I mean, Justin's been dropped by his people and his podcast partner and whatnot, and Blake's got, of course, celebrities supporting her.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what kind of put me like over the edge, because, back to Justin Baldoni's credits, I haven't seen Clouds, but I have seen 5 Feet Apart, which he also directed.
Yeah.
And it is so well done. It is a very, very sad movie, but so well done. It was a good movie. It is one that I would watch over again, even though it like breaks your heart in two.
Right. Yeah.
That when I knew that he directed that, and then I saw this, I was like, oh, like,
right.
And then I find out that we see Blake's version. And so that's when I was like, she completely hijacked this project from him. What gives her the right to do that? Especially if his tested better than hers. She's pulling the I'm Blake Lively and I'm married to Ryan Reynolds card And I feel cheated out of a movie that could have been done and should have been done so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this had the impact, her complaint had the impact on her reputation that she was hoping it had, especially since Justin has come out with his lawsuits and backing those up with text messages, letters, videos, like anything that he has at his disposal, he's backing it up to the point where they even reached out to, was it Sony or some other movie set, and said, his lawyer reached out to someone and said, we want access to all of the emails, all of the text messages, all of any information you have. That is discovery, and we need you to deliver within X amount of days. So it's almost like they're prepared. And then Justin and on Blake and Ryan's side, I'm sure they'll come out with a countersuit, but they're just like, can we put a gag order on the lawyer because they feel like their reputation is being ruined. It all seems to be about them and less about like what you tried to do to this person. And the more that it comes out that you all really strong-armed her and maybe even got Taylor Swift involved, I think that's the fact that they had hoped would turn the tide in Blake's favor.
Do not get Taylor Swift involved.
Right. I mean, like the Swifties will come.
This is how serious we've gotten, people. Like, this is how deep this is. It is a very, very tangled web. And I am like you. I am 99.9 on women's side. You know, I have no reason to doubt somebody that feels uncomfortable, which is where you have a weird situation, right? Because who can say on paper, Justin, no matter what else was done, no matter whether he thought she was a bitch, no matter whether he thought she was grumpy or didn't want to be there or wasn't a team player, if a female ever says she's uncomfortable, that's her feeling, right? That's no one can dispute that because that's your feeling in your gut, right? Nobody else is in your gut.
100%.
And that's why it's such a fine line.
I don't know how she felt. Maybe she did feel uncomfortable. Maybe she did. I think what bothers me is if she felt uncomfortable, like you're right, any situation can be interpreted and it could be as innocent as possible. And I could still feel uncomfortable with it. Right. I could still feel like, I don't want to be involved in that again. But what bothers me about it is she 100% could have felt that way. But it would have been better if I would have felt like she told the truth up front instead of cherry picking the moments. And then when Justin shows them with additional context, you're like, but that's not what you said happened. Like you made it seem like this man just kissed you out of nowhere and he showed you porn.
But, she's claiming that there was this campaign to ruin her career or ruin her reputation prior to all of this, right? Like prior to all the things coming out detail-wise. Why? Like, why is this? Like, he hired Amber Heard's lawyers, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Or PR people. I mean, prior to Blake's complaint or lawsuit.
Well, because of the meeting at their house where Ryan yelled at him.
Right, because Blake felt like this campaign had been going on to ruin her reputation. That's where it started with everybody not liking Blake. But then Blake comes out with this complaint and formal complaint and lawsuit and says, oh, but this is what was going on. And then everybody says, oh, wait a minute. We're sorry, Blake.
Yeah.
We're sorry that we were thinking you're just an evil bitch out there in Hollywood, Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. And I have a feeling that this one's going to get even more in depth and that it's going to get dirty and it's not anywhere near done.
Oh, well, apparently there's more video coming out from
Yeah.
Justin's team.
Yeah. In rebuttal, it says.
So do you think, and this is just a question that I didn't have, but in reading like comments and stuff, like other people are questioning. I don't know that I buy that she fell for him, like she had feelings and she got rejected. I don't buy that whole narrative.
Yeah, me neither.
But do you think on some level she told her husband Ryan Reynolds a version of things and the way they happened, and now Ryan is finding out in real time with everybody else what actually happened, but they can't go back on anything. And now he's like, this is why they want the gag order, because it's
I don't know. I think that they all realized the movie was kind of crap.
Well, and it was her movie. And he let everybody know this is not my version.
And she, comes off like this, doesn't want to do press for it, doesn't really want to help. So she's promoting her other lines of things.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to do all this stuff. And so he gets mad. He says, maybe something out of context about, being bitchy about something. And then she comes back and says, well, oh yeah, this is everything that you did that made me this way. And this is why this movie's bad, is because we didn't have this chemistry. We didn't do this because you did this, and this. I think the whole thing stems from the fact that everybody knows the movie was bad.
It was not great.
It was not good.
And I mean, she didn't really help herself with the everybody wear florals to the movie about domestic violence. Like,
I know.
Why are we wearing flowers? Like,
and the whole like she is not who I pictured when I was reading the book.
That's what everyone's, again, I didn't read the book, but everyone's like, she's not who should have played. Even to the point where people are even saying the girl who played younger version Blake should have also played older version Blake.
Because in the book, I pictured a much younger girl.
Well, she was in her 20s, right?
Yeah, which, I mean, I know Blake's not like old or anything,
well, she's
but
35 though. So.
But I mean,
and a mom of 4.
Picturing like a fresh out of college kind of girl.
Right. Yeah. Someone who would be more, again, it's going to sound horrible, but someone who you would think would be, hasn't lived a lot of life.
A little naive.
And a little naive in these situations to where, yes, they could say that was an accident.
Yeah.
Versus someone who's like nearing my age of,
and grew up with seeing this in their own family. Right.
Yeah. And has been through several relationships. Like, oh, no, that's not right. You know what I mean? Like, or had friends who have been through it.
Yeah. And, it really just, the whole thing kind of just really, the biggest part that pissed me off is that Atlas did not get the love that he deserved.
He was like a background player. Yeah.
And the fact that they had Brandon Skelner playing him, he should have had way more love in there, because Brandon's amazing. He's gorgeous. And he could have played that role way better. Like I think he could have been allowed to play that role better.
Is he again, I haven't read any of Colleen Hoover's books. So I know that It Starts With Us was like the sequel to this. Is Atlas, I don't know if you've read it, but is Atlas more prominent in that? And maybe that's what they were saving for, like keep him in the background for this one, but it's going to be all about Atlas. And
I don't know if I've read that one.
Okay.
No, I don't think I have.
Okay. That was my thought, was like, okay, well maybe he's like, because the way the movie ended, I was like, okay, well these are going to be the characters that we see in the next movie.
Right. Well, who knows what happens with that too, right? Who knows? Yeah, I know, right? It's so cliche too. Let's meet at the flower market. I mean, who knows, like, what's going to happen now from this movie? I mean, when it comes
to get her reputation back, you think? It's not so far. I don't think it's going well for her. I know. There's going to have to be some bombshell that her team just drops that you're like, oh, this blows all the other evidence that Justin and his team have presented out the water. Like it just. That's it. Like, I don't need to say anything.
That's what I'm just wondering, like what that could be or what they would do. Know. But I'm wondering that is
Hollywood. There's got to be something.
I know somebody's got to have a camera shot of something.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take. And honestly, even though some of his stuff seems a little more like, oh yeah, well, we've got this, and they show the longer version to show context, which maybe makes more sense logically. I do think that he has a longer way to go because of being the male in the situation, right?
And the more unknown, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think he's going to have to be the one that comes even more with more stuff.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but I am here for it. I want to see, I want to know, I want to be there, I want to understand, and then I want to be able to point my finger at the right person.
Do you want it to go to trial? Like we were obsessed with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, and
oh my gosh! But only if
goes
we
to
can
trial.
have the same players in the trial.
We need Johnny Depp's lawyers back. I don't know. Justin's lawyer is pretty like animated.
I know.
He's like,
well, like I said, I think it was Amber Heard's team that he's hired.
Okay.
So I mean, I think he's on track for it.
I mean, it needs to be televised. I need to like be glued in. We might have to have like an episode after every day. Let's recap what we heard type thing. Like,
I mean, I'm all for it.
I need to analyze the videos the same way we analyze the pictures that Amber uploaded. Like, I need it all. I can be swayed. I mean, right now that it's tilting a little more in Justin's favor because he has the evidence.
Oh, sure.
But Blake, if you come with the evidence, I can be swayed back to your side. I'm swayable.
100%.
I'm not firmly in anybody's camp right now.
I am not sold either way yet.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be ongoing for a while. I do think that it might get nasty. You've made Ryan Reynolds mad, which, doesn't seem like it's going to end well.
We make Deadpool mad.
I know. But now you've made Blake's friends mad and Ryan's friends mad, and like you said, Swifties are up in arms, and yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm here for it.
Do you want to see Justin's version of the movie?
I mean, I wouldn't not watch it.
Right? Like, I want to see it because I'm like, I feel like we're owed this movie at this point.
I mean,
I don't care if you release it straight to video or Netflix or wherever you want to release it.
I'll stream it, and I want it to actually say like
Justin's cut, because I don't know who the director on this was.
Justin's version, like Taylor does,
Oh, yes.
and let him kind of like throw it in her face a little bit.
Khaleesi's version, Justin's version,
right?
Yeah.
So
I love that she called herself Khaleesi and Taylor Swift a dragon. I was like, I don't know about that, but okay. Do you remember what happened to Khaleesi in the end? Because
how in the world are we discussing It Ends With Us and Game of Thrones in the same situation?
I mean, I cannot believe the amount of information this man saved. It just has you thinking like, what was going on that made him be like, nope, I need to save this message. That's what has me. Like, she has yet to produce anything. Like, did she delete all her stuff? And Justin was like, that's weird. Screenshot.
That's why I'm wondering, like, is she going to drop something big and be like, oh, okay, I wasn't going to go there, but.
Well, she needs to come there now. He's going there. So
she needs to
stop waiting, because then I'm going to think it's AI.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. But it is interesting. It's a lot of he said, she said, and unfortunately, none of us are ever probably going to really know the full truth, since we weren't there. But like you said, it's Hollywood. Somebody's got to know. Somebody
knows something. They always do. I need a background player to come out of the woods and be like, I was in the shadows, but I saw everything.
It's exactly right. Yeah. And they've got a little like footage from a flip phone or something.
Yeah. Oh, I love flip phone footage. The stuff that I just have to kind of enlarge just to make sure that I'm seeing it's the right people.
Yeah. And it's like the most valid of any of the footage.
Because you don't know you're being filmed.
So just shifting a little bit. This is very brief. We don't need to discuss this a lot, but this means a lot to me, but maybe not you. So Ryan Reynolds, this is the degrees of separation here. Ryan Reynolds, good buddy, Hugh Jackman. Did you hear that he's now divorced and dating Sutton Foster?
Yes.
So Sutton Foster, for those who don't know, Broadway Tony winner, amazing, thoroughly modern Millie was kind of her thing.
And younger.
And younger, and
Yeah.
Bunheads. I don't know if you ever
I don't know
watched.
if I've ever heard that one.
Oh, you might need to go pull that up and watch
Okay.
Bunheads. It's a series. It's sort of like a CW-ish series.
Okay.
She plays a Las Vegas showgirl, and she has a guy who it's the guy that was I think it was the guy that played Cameron in Ferris Bueller.
Oh, I don't know his name, but I know you're
But
talking
you know
about.
what I'm talking about, right? I'm pretty sure it was him. Anyway, he's like obsessed with her, not in like a creepy way, but he's like in business in town a lot for whatever, and he goes and sees her at these shows, and he's always bringing her flowers, and everybody thinks it's like her little fanboy and stuff. And anyway, she's just down in the dumps, depressed and all, and he kind of offers to take her to dinner one night, and she was finally like, fine, whatever, we'll go. She goes to dinner with him, and then I think they have too much to drink. They end up getting married at Vegas in the middle of the night, just because she's kind of a hot mess. And then he dies in like a car accident the next day.
Oh.
And so she has to go and like, she's listed in his like immediate papers and stuff that like his spouse would take everything, and they were married now. And so she goes to his old hometown, which is this small little Gilmore Girls-ish town, and she meets his mom, who is none too fond of her, and the mom owns a ballet studio, and the girls in town, kind of take to Sutton Foster as their teacher, who she becomes. Bunhead is like what they're calling the ballet girls. Anyway, lovely little story. It's really cute
I
show.
should find it. I never heard of that.
Yeah. Anywho, so Hugh Jackman was one of those that's been married in Hollywood for a long, long time. I think it was like 27, 28 years.
Long time, yeah.
They were married. But he did Music Man with Sutton recently, and there was buzz about them hooking up, hanging out, whatever. Lo and behold, she gets divorced in October, then he sets divorce in December, and now they've come out and we've seen them kissing and hanging out.
I mean, okay.
I think it makes sense. I don't know, but I just hate that one of those Hollywood 20-some-year marriages ends, But it was important to me because I love Sutton Foster. I have loved her since she was on What Not to Wear. Do you remember that show?
I do, but I didn't know she was on it.
So the show was where they do the makeover, right? That was What Not to Wear.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
She and her partner, not partner, but like her kid, like that was playing a part with her in a show that she was in way back in the day. Two friends were married to two friends. So she was married to Christian Borle, who is famous for playing on Legally Blonde, the musical. Anyway, they were married, and he nominated her as like, hey, she's this Broadway star and this and that, and she's a horrible dresser. And so that was the first time I'd ever heard of her, and it was back in her very, very early days on Broadway. And I used to watch that show after classes whenever I was in college. So there you never knew.
That's way back. That's way back.
Yeah. I know.
That's what pre-name, yeah.
And you just don't see her name all the time and stuff. So there you go. That's your little tidbit there.
Okay.
Also, in sad breakup news, How do you feel about Craig and Paige breaking up from uh, uh, Summer House and Southern Charm?
It's sad. I loved them together, but I kind of always thought like unless one of them moves to either Charleston or New York, it was going to be very difficult for them to stay together. But I was hoping they did.
I really, really wanted them to be together. I wanted them to stay together. Like there's something quirky about both of them. They both just always seem to laugh and fit together. Clearly, I only see what's on TV, but it just seemed to kind of mesh well. They kind of took each other in stride when a lot of their other friends don't always do the same. And, but Paige was never going to leave New York. And Craig really needed to stay in Charleston with his businesses and whatnot. And, that may be a short little plane ride, but it's just not feasible. And from what I understand, the rumor is that Paige was the one that called it off and that Craig was kind of caught off guard by it. And
yeah,
so
he said, I think he had a video where he said that. So
yeah. So that's a shame. I hate that for them. Are you watching Southern Charm right now?
yes.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to see her on there knowing like
I know what's about to
happened.
happen.
Yeah.
And he just froze his sperm.
And that was the other issue. Like he was full on ready for let's get married, let's have kids. And I think she was getting there, but she was still more of the why, we're having fun, we're doing well.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it was one of those. I don't know that anything happened. I think she loves him. But I think it was one of those, we don't want the same things right now. So
and if we keep dragging this on, it's just going to be years and years
she
more.
wants him to be happy and to be able to pursue what he wants. She would love that to be with her. But if marriage and kids is in his immediate future, she's not there yet. And I feel like
40.
that's what it is.
And he's 40.
Yeah.
Or pushing 40 or so. He's at 40,
he's close. Yeah.
And so I even read something where he said, look, he told Shep in like an interview that Shep was doing for a show or something. He said something like, and this was before the breakup. He said, of course, I'm down to wait, a little bit longer for kids. He's like, but every time that I wait a little bit longer, she still has the ability to say, just still not ready yet. He's like, and then that's just that much more time. And I get that. Like he's got a valid point, like unless she's going to sign off somewhere saying, yes, 100% in 2 years, I will absolutely try to get pregnant. That's not, that's just not who they were. So it sucks. I hate it. It was one of my favorite couples to watch on TV. Like I love seeing them.
They were so cute. They were funny. I feel like they were better together than separately. Like I liked each of them separately, but I loved them together.
Me too. And I just thought they were both really quirky. Like they're fun.
Yeah. They are. Yeah. They're a cute couple.
And obviously there's nothing saying that they couldn't get back together. Who knows? They're in that same universe together of Bravo and whatnot. So they, there's going to be plenty of chances for them to run into each other and all, but tell you, it's going to be real interesting whenever one of them starts dating again.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
I know. And now, did you hear that Craig has opened up a new restaurant with Austin?
No.
Yeah. So it just opened like 2 weeks ago, maybe. It's called, it's like initials, but like what all the kids say. I don't know. It's like a whiskey bar or something like that. But it's also interesting to be watching this season with the troubles that Austin and Craig are having. And they just opened up a restaurant together in Charleston.
Yeah. I might take a trip to Charleston.
It is. Do some research.
Do some firsthand research and report back.
And it's a very it's a tough season, like you said, because not just because of them, but I think that it is it's tough on Craig being kind of an adult going into this, but yet they're giving him such a hard time. Like, I love Craig. I do. I love Craig.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they are giving him such a hard time on the show about being a grown-up. And that's hard for me to watch because I'm like,
And he's like, but I am.
he is a grown-up, you know?
I have businesses and a mortgage. Like,
It's like, I like gardening because it looks nice.
look at my new grill. Come over for a barbecue. I got the pool for us. I got it so all of us can hang out here.
He's like, it's so that we don't have to go pay money at the
Right.
bar.
You don't have to do that. Everything is here for us.
And I love that. Like, this is like,
Same. I want him as a friend. Like,
I
I'll come hang
know.
out at the pool with you and grill some hot dogs. Let's do
I
it.
will totally come and hang out here. I don't understand.
I don't need to be there either, Craig. Like, that's what adults do.
I know. It's just, it's, I just found the name of the restaurant that they opened. It's called By the Way.
Okay.
Yeah. It's, a cozy den. Let's see. I'm looking at it. It's real pretty. Ideal all day, all night neighborhood hangout, the spot where friends old and new come together on the regular for good food, killer drinks, and great fun. And like the inside of it, the couple pictures that I'm seeing look very lush, like brown leather and like gold curtains and things like that. But yeah, it's the two of them together. So now who's the grown up, right?
Well, I'm glad that Austin has his own establishment to sell Trop Hop so that he doesn't have to ask anybody else.
So he doesn't have to take it to every barbecue and be like, are you not drinking
Right.
Trop
You guys
Hop?
want some Trop Hop?
Are you not drinking Trop Hop? What are you doing?
I brought a keg of Trop Hop. Let's.
And it's like Whitney every time is always like, no, I'm not drinking Trop Hop.
I'm not. They got the whiskey bar so that they could continue to hang out with Whitney because that's all he's drinking.
He's like,
So
I'm
Miss
not
Patricia can come and
drinking.
feel like she's around grown-ups.
I'm like, I am not drinking Trop Hop. Goodness, no.
I love a good scene with Whitney. He annoys me sometimes, but he has some of the best like facial expressions or one-liners. He's good.
I love it. I love it. And it is, especially when his mom, Miss Pat, is trying to explain to him like all the details that goes into keeping the house. And Whitney's like, I'm just gonna
That's fine. Whatever.
have like a couple parties every once in a
I
while.
change this sofa out. It's
Yeah. There's a lot of pink in
a
here.
lot of stuff going on in here. There's a lot of little
Too many florals. We're not
A lot of
going to
pillows
a
that Craig
Disney
made you.
movie. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, look up sometime the pictures from By the Way,
I will.
to see their restaurant and all. It's beautiful. And it'll be interesting to see like how it does. But I mean, they do have like steak and fries, but like beautifully cooked steak with like a side of fancy French fries, right? So
Sounds expensive, so yeah.
that type of place.
Yeah.
That type of place. So yeah, that's that on Southern Charm, and we can briefly mention, just pour one out for our Vanderpump friends. No more Vanderpump Rules as we currently know it. There will be a new season starting filming this year, in just a couple months, I think. They're starting to film, but they do already have the cast and everything set up for a new batch of pumpers, if you will.
It was time. I mean, I miss the old cast. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
But it was time. The same drama for however many years, 10, 11 years was just
Enough.
And last season ended, the montage ended perfectly. Like it would be hard to just like come up with something else for the ending.
It's pretty hard to come back from that.
Yeah, like you showed me from like the time I was first on the show till the time like I'm walking out of this party. So I'm gonna take the hint that maybe this is it. So.
Well, I saw this clip from Sheena Shea's podcast, and Sheena was like, we didn't know until we got the letter on such and such date. And I'm
We
like,
knew Sheena.
girl, Everybody else knew. What are you talking about?
We know a good ending montage when we see it. We've been around this a long
Everybody
time.
else knew. What are you talking about? You heard yesterday. No, you didn't.
You just didn't want to believe it until
You
yesterday.
are ditzy. You need to stop. Yeah.
Well, she'll
so
probably be on the valley with
I think she and Lala are
Lala.
going to be having some Valley time, which I'm fine with.
Sure.
The Valley's the grown-up version, and they still have drama and funny times. So
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I liked the Valley.
I'm getting there. It was fun. I watched the first season. It was fun. I'll watch the second.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
different now that Brittany and
I was about to
Jack
say
are
it's
together.
all different now. And that there's another couple in there that got divorced as well.
Oh yeah, the Michelle and
The
guy. I remember. I think her name's Michelle. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but they're separated as well or divorced, whatever. I don't know. So it's all going to be different. And now you throw in Sheena Shea. What? Things get crazy up in the valley now.
Brock needs to be on a dad show. He is the ultimate dad, so he needs to have dad friends that to hang out with.
I feel like Brock's
I'm
going to
looking
end up
forward to
on the Food Network.
Oh, does he cook?
No, I don't think so. But I think he's going to be one of those guys. Like I just feel like he's that guy.
Okay.
So, speaking of, we'll wrap it up super quickly, but are you gonna watch Meghan's new show? It got delayed because of the fires in California, which I appreciate that, and that's nice of her to do. It has been announced that Duchess Meghan, is going to be releasing her show in March now on Netflix.
I will give it a go because I know Harry makes an appearance. I'm always going to support Harry.
Correct.
I will see how the show goes. How about that? I will see how the show goes.
You watched the trailer.
I did. I understand how the show's going to go, but I need to see how this is going to go. Like,
I get the concept.
You're going to pull me in. I don't just want to watch you make avocado toast every episode. Make food that I will eat and that I will serve to my family.
Well, and she's going to tell you how to go pick fresh flowers out of your garden and where to put them.
I go to the farmer's market for that. They're already put together for me. They're a nice bundle for
$10.
Very inexpensive. I can get the $10 bunch for the $20.
Yes.
And it's nice. Like I don't need to pick out of my own garden.
You know, and I just feel like it's been done. This show has been done. It's been done too much, you know. And I think it's just purely because it's Meghan that
I want her to open that store and respond to my email that I sent to join the list before we move on to other things.
I know. One thing at a time, Meghan.
I don't know if we're waiting on my candles or if we are waiting on my jam.
She's going to be making the jam and the candles in the show.
And then I'll get the email that I can join.
Okay. Yes. She's like in one of the clips, she's like putting leaves on the top of a cake. And she says, I just have always enjoyed taking regular things and elevating them. And I'm like, yeah, like your status in Hollywood, you know, like just, she's just, something about it just doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel real. And if you're going to show us this and put this production behind it, people need to kind of believe it. I feel like with you, I feel like she set herself up for that.
I know it's not going to happen, but I would 100% watch a show where they move back to England and maybe not resume their roles as senior royals, but be there to like start working on family things. You know what I mean? Like we're back in the country. The kids are around their cousins. They have that relationship. We're reestablishing a relationship. But I would 100% watch a show where she's like getting accustomed to the English life.
Dude, I might invest in it. Like I would 100% go to a production company and say, how can I back this? Yeah. Like that's how I want to see them.
Yeah. Like go to a farmer's market or
I'll watch
English friends.
Yeah. I'll watch behind where I would be fully supportive of her sitting in the little confessional room being like, dude, that sucked having dinner at Buckingham Palace because those people were so boring. Like I would
Have Zara over for tea.
I would love this.
Have what's the cousin Eugenie and
Eugenie and
for just like a hang
or a kid play date.
A kid play date. Yeah, like
I would love
that.
But I need it to be more relatable. This in Montecito, in your garden, in your well-lit kitchen that's not even really your kitchen, I'm not buying.
No, I'm not going to do any of that.
No.
I have soccer practice to get to, and
yes, I have real mom things to do, and including talking about you on the next episode. And that's the reason I'm going to watch it. That's the reason I'm going to watch it, is because I need to see what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
And how we're going to kind of make fun of it. Let's be honest.
Hey.
I'm like you said, if maybe I would have received a candle by now, I might have given you benefit of the doubt. But
I'm upset that this is the new venture before I even got an email back from you. Like,
yeah, this type of show is just what pisses me off. That's all.
Yeah. American Riviera is not happening. Just say that.
Well, this is why I always liked Rachel Ray. Okay. I always loved Rachel Ray because she did the 30-minute meals, right?
I think so, yeah.
30 minutes. It was like real food that was like real quick. And she was kind of sloppy, kind of dirty, kind of worked at the Holiday Inn back in the day.
Yeah.
That's why I always was like, okay, I can get behind this because I believe it. You just showed it to me. But I cannot get behind putting decor of leaves and berries from my fresh garden on my lemon meringue pie that I just baked while my kids were with the nanny.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Get eggs out of my chicken coop.
Oh, right. Get them to whip them up.
Hold on. This needs an egg.
Let me just go check the coop. Yeah. So, and then she can have all the guests on there she wants. I mean, whoop-de-doo.
The only guest I want to see is Zara Tinsdale or like Eugenie or
Kate. Go ahead, get them on there.
If you have them on there, I'm like watching every single episode. I don't want to see these people.
No.
I see them on other shows. No, they're not interesting.
And they're just loving it because they're hanging out with you. Like they're not in this because like I don't buy that y'all are besties.
No.
I just feel like they're watching it or that they're on the show because they're just like, oh, we're like friends with the Duchess.
We've met her before.
Once.
We were at the same event, so I agreed to show up here today.
Well, I think we'll have some stuff to watch, obviously, come March now. I would like to resume whenever we have our trial information. If it goes to trial for Justin and Blake, we will determine if we do weekly or daily even recaps during a trial. Like a little 10, 15 minute what just happened. I could get behind that. And then we will be on date watch for Craig and Paige.
Yeah.
And the new Vanderpump cast, we'll see if they're too young for me to watch because I kind of feel like they might be. I might just have to watch The Valley. And now we have Meghan to watch in March.
Mm-hmm.
With love, Chick Chat. So we'll come back in March. We'll definitely, maybe even before that, obviously. If we can do it in February and prepare ourselves to get ready for the big launch in March, we might have to break down some more details. I'm sure we'll know more by then. To everyone on the West Coast, we're thinking of you in the horrible fires that have been going on. Thank goodness Meghan has delayed her show because I'm sure that is really what you guys needed. Otherwise, Jeanette, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Love chatting with you. Love breaking it down and, solving the world's mysteries and problems with just one little chick chat. All right. Until next time, everybody, be sure to check us out on themesh.tv. That's the website. You can find us. You can check out all the other shows and anything else that you might want to follow up on. Shoot us an email. We'll be happy to answer any questions or address a topic if you have one for us to discuss. Until next time, catch you on the flip side.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.